Take a look at the runners now before the running of the other big event today, the Vic Health Winter Championship Final. And first of all, as John Rothfield joins me, Dr. Turf number 1, Mr. Classic, ran home at its last start at Werribee to finish third behind Above Deck. Was only beaten a half length and a half neck. It's got 57 kilos, but to offset that has the services of Harry White, who's already won a race here today, showing odds of round about 9-2 on the totem. Mr. Classic certainly amongst the chances. Now, number 2, Black Blaze, Johnny, is a somewhat controversial horse.
Yes, Pete, we're not too sure what's happening at the moment with the Cummings stable, but gee, he won well here in the Winner Plate series. He sat outside the lead and then careered away in the straight and wasn't threatened. Great to see Lenny Morn back on board too, Pete, and I think he'll be very hard to beat, Black Blaze. There's a lot of pace in this race, Pete, and that's the difference between here and Werribee. I'm not sure about that Werribee form because there was no pace. It was a wet track, tight, tricky track. No.
All right, one of the horses that will race handy up to the pace is number 3, Grey Man. Ran on well at Moonee Valley at its last start behind Benbara King. Darren Gauci in the saddle today. Looked very well on the way to the barrier there. You can see him, a big, strong grey. And Grey Man at the odds of $3.75, a definite chance.
Yep. Number 4 is Above Deck. He had the sit at Werribee, Pete, and was just too strong for Lapushka's boy. He does go well here at Flemington. He's a good honest horse each way.
Number 5, Bronze Knight. Forget his last start at Wodonga. Prior to that, he'd run well here at Flemington. He's won $275,000 in prize money, and if he strikes anything like his best form, he'll be there.
That's right. Number 6, Nouvelle. Another one who wasn't suited at Werribee by the slow pace. Got Greg Hall on board here today, Peter. He'll be very hard to beat, Nouvelle. Will improve.
Number 7, Cameronic, raced handy up to the pace at Werribee, but was on the fence, and that wasn't the place to be that day and dropped off. I think he'd need to improve, Cameronic.
Yep, been a while between drinks for him. Number 8, Light Show. He did seem to have every chance there at Werribee. He did have 54.5, and he's never been a weight carrier, but I still think this is a little bit too strong for him. 9, Malted Grain with Nifty Wilson in the saddle, sat second at Werribee before winning. He did pull hard that day and ran home pretty well. He's a definite chance at pretty good odds. Yeah, much improved. Number 10, Lapushka's boy, another improved galloper. He led at Werribee, he pulled very hard, and he battled on all right, but this will test him.
Fleet Yacht, the grey, is one that's going to get out of its ground. It was a pretty ordinary effort at Werribee, where it finished in the middle of the field behind Above Deck, but it will be running on.
Yep. Number 12, Rachmanus, much improved galloper, Pete, and won at odds here, I reckon, Rachmanus.
Well, I don't think we need to spend too much time on number 13, Deep Darkness, with Johnny Diddham aboard. Looks outclassed.
Or Carawan.
Number 15, Lord Manitou, was 3 wide all the way at its last appearance here at Flemington. Joined the leaders at the top of the straight as we look at Carawan there, and we go on to number 15, Lord Manitou. And, well, I think you'll find that he should be a chance in the race.
He looks well.
Yeah, he does look well on the way to the barrier. I think he comes into contention here, Docky.
Yep, rough chance. And number 16, Tristoplane, not as good as he was. He tried to lead at Werribee, dropped off after leading all the way at Cranbourne, and I think this will test him, Pete.
Righto, a tip as they go to the stalls, Johnny?
I'll give you 2, mate. Number 1, Mr. Classic, very hard to beat, and at odds, I like Bronze Knight.
And I've gone for Grey Man, number 3 at odds, to beat number 1, Mr. Classic. The second of the principal races coming up, the Vic Health Winter Championship Final. We'll return to Flemington for the first leg of the Victorian TAB Double in just a moment.
Welcome back to Flemington. We've just seen a sensational Grand National steeplechase, and now it's time for the Vic Health Winter Championship Final, a listed race here at Flemington. And as the horses go into the stalls, Mr. Classic is still the favourite at $2.40, Black Blaze $3.05, Grey Man $3.80, Above Deck $5.65, $7 for Bronze Knight, just under $10 Nouvelle, Cameronic at a pretty good quote, Light Show $5.70, Malted Grain at $7.55. Lapushka's boy $7.80, Fleet Yacht's about a 35-1 chance, Rachmanus $6.85, Deep Darkness $27, Carawan $36, Lord Manitou $7.55, Tristoplane $40. Runners are filling the stalls, and incredibly in this race we have a field of 16, but 7 of the runners are grey, as opposed to the steeple where you could keep your eye on just the one. In King Dollar there's 7 of them in this race. Grey Man, Bronze Knight, Light Show, Fleet Yacht, Rachmanus, Deep Darkness and Carawan. And the runners are going into the gates for this 5th event. Prize money of $76,000, including a trophy. Black Blaze has won its last 2 starts. Controversially in one, though, I might add. Light Show going into the stalls. Rachmanus, Above Deck, Nouvelle, Fleet Yacht are still away from the line. 1,400 metres is the distance. First leg of the Melbourne Quad Extra and Daily Double. Second leg of the Quadrella. First leg of which was taken out by number 9, I'm in Heaven. And no doubt the connections of trainery would be just that after winning the National. Nouvelle, one of two horses from the Colin Hayes stable going into the stalls, the other being Above Deck. And they're set for a start. They're all set to go for the Vic Health Winter Championship final. Starter on his platform, light about to go on. One a bit fidgety in one of the middle barriers. Attendants run across. Lights on again now. Racing this time, Carawan stood there, missed it by a length and a half. Nouvelle a bit slow, and so too was Above Deck. One of the first horses to get away from the stalls was Black Blaze from Lapushka's Boy, and Bronze Knights over on the inside of Malted Grain, and then Rachmanus. Cameronic was down on the inside, and they were followed out deep by Lord Manitou. Grey Man surging forward from Trista Plain, and then Above Deck and Deep Darkness, Fleet Yacht, Carawan, and last of all was Nouvelle. 1,000 metres to go. Black Blaze led surprisingly, 3/4 of a length. Second, Malted Grain. Bronze Knight third, then Lapushka's Boy, Wonder Mr. Classic. Then Rachmanus, followed by Cameronic on the inside of Trista Plain. A length further back to Grey Man, Lord Manitou, Light Show, then Above Deck on the fence from Fleet Yacht, and then Deep Darkness, Nouvelle. And last was Carawan. Approaching the turn with 600 metres to go, and Black Blaze is just the leader from Malted Grain. Bronze Knight needs a run on the inside of Lapushka's Boy, and then Mr. Classic, Cameronic. Rachmanus running into it, Trista Plain next, and then Grey Man, Light Show, and well back Lord Manitou. On straightening, 400 metres to go. Black Blaze is just in front. Going up the tackle at Malted Grain, then Bronze Knight can't get a run at them. Mr. Classic, Rachmanus running on strongly as Malted Grain went to the front. Here's the top weight, Mr. Classic on the outside, and Nouvelle spreading home hard from the rear. Mr. Classic goes up to take the lead. Black Blaze fighting back, and Nouvelle late. Mr. Classic in front, Nouvelle flying. Mr. Classic in front, Nouvelle diving but didn't make it. And Mr. Classic beat Nouvelle. Photo for third, Black Blaze and Malted Grain, then Carawan flashing home. Fleet Yacht next, and then Above Deck. Next in Trista Plain, Cameronic, Lapushka's Boy, and Bronze Knight, Lord Manitou. And then four of the greys going over the line together. Light Show, Grey Man, Rachmanus, and Deep Darkness. Number one is the winner, Mr. Classic, ridden by Harry White. In scintillating form at the moment, both the horse and the jockey. Harry's ridden a double today in only two of the three flat races, and expect $2.10 and 85 cents for a should pay for Mr. Classic. Second was Nouvelle. It'll return about $2.70 approximately, and there's a photo finish for third between Black Blaze and Malted Grain. Judge calling on the photo for third. Mr. Classic was always handy. Harry had him in a perfect position. Number 9's got third, Malted Grain. And at this stage, Malted Grain got his head in front of Black Blaze, who was then starting to fight back on the inside for jockey Lenny Morn. And here's Harry, hands and heels, three off the fence with Mr. Classic joining in. And at this stage, he gets to the two horses inside him. And look at Nouvelle in the green colour start to flash home out wide. Mr. Classic beats off Malted Grain. Black Blaze momentarily fights back, and then Nouvelle right down the outside is making up good ground on the winner. But the winner has just been too good today. Mr. Classic first. 1, 6 and 9 of the placings on the Vic Health Winter Championship final. We'll take a break and come back again to Flemington on National Steeple Day.
Yeah, I'm running down a dream that never would come to me.
Away again, about a length and a half, goes to it. Jumped it all right, led a length and a half to 2 to Valiant Gamble. A long gap to Direct Mail, and behind them Noble Heritage. Valiant Gamble on the inside, trying to run. Barther shouting down at the distance. Barther shouting about a half to 3/4. Valiant Gamble coming at him hard. Valiant Gamble within a long neck of Barther shouting. They're both very tired. Barther shouting a neck in front. Valiant Gamble won't get him. And the New Zealander's going to win the Grand National. Barther shouting beats Valiant Gamble.
Running down a dream.
Mr. Classic, another great ride by Harry White, a winning double for him, and Mr. Classic pays $2.10 for the win and 85 cents for the place. These are interim dividends pending correct weight. Second, number 6, Nouvelle, $2.70. Third, number 9, Malted Grain, $2.30. The Quinella was $19.70, and the trifecta, $380.55. The numbers were 1, 6 and 9, and the time recorded by the winner, 1:25, after the running of the Vic Health Winter Championship final. So there you have the horses leaving the mounting yard after the running of the second of the big races today. And Dan Malicki has joined me in the mounting yard. And Dan, let's take a look at what's happened so far here at Flemington today.
Pete, we'll go back to the first of the 5 races run so far today, and Sonic Express, who ran second here last week, was just too strong down the straight 6. The leader point is clear, and it's going on to score comfortably by about 2.5 lengths to Aspect Star and Compression. Close up was Pacific Boom.
Sonic Express, the winner of the first event, 605 and 180 at good double figure odds. Aspect Star second, Compression third. The favourite Salmon Shan very disappointing. In the second event, Borichin defeated Newsbeat again over the jumps.
He leads by a length than Newsbeat. Borichin up and over. Newsbeat skipped through it, then Bullinatasi. Borichin still a length and a half in front. Newsbeat's trying hard. Borichin's fighting back. He's got plenty in hand. And Poltridge and Houlihan again. And he goes down to the line, Borichin, to win by a length than Newsbeat. 5 away, Bullinatasi.
Hurdler with plenty of ability, 150 and 75. Favourites trifecta, Borichin, Newsbeat, Bullinatasi. 2, race number 3 in the first of Harry's Double.
On the turn, Trainery and Father shouting. They're out by 8 lengths to Kalahari. I'm in Heaven got the rails run, drew clear with 100 metres to go. And I'm in Heaven draws away for Harry White to win by 2 lengths. Kalahari second, Mind My Boy third, then Warwick Cater.
7.15 and 2.15 for I'm in Heaven. Kalahari second, Mind My Boy was third. And of course, the Thrilling National.
Trainery, those drawn away. He looks to have the Grand National Steeple won. He's 5 or 6 in front. Come back to form on the right day, and Trainery is going to win a sensational Grand National Steeple. He goes on to score by 8 lengths. Trainery first, Father Shouting second, 15 lengths away, Commission Red running on for third.
Sensational race, 7.80 and 2.10 Trainery, one of the outsiders in the small field, bar the Shouting, Commission Red filling the placings. To the previous event, Classic Ride, Harry White on Mr. Classic.
Mr. Classic on the outside and Nouvelle sprinting home hard from the rear. Mr. Classic goes up to take the lead. Black Blaze fighting back and Nouvelle late. Mr. Classic in front, Nouvelle flying. Mr. Classic in front, Nouvelle diving but didn't make it. And Mr. Classic beat Nouvelle.
2.10 and 85 for Mr. Classic defeating the fast finishing Nouvelle, and Malta Grain just getting third in front of Black Blaze. It's now presentation time for the Vic Health Winter Championship. And
today, and we'll have a complete wrap-up tonight in 10 Evening News. Dr. Turf, thanks for being with us.
Thanks, Pete. I'll be back in the spring with Mr. Classic, I'd say, too.
We'll look forward to it. And Dan, it's been a great day.
Thanks, gentlemen. We bid you arrivederci from Flemington until we meet again. Good punting.
This program was proudly brought to you by TAB Telephone Betting.
Trouble between Melissa and John.
Welcome back to Sports World. Time now for horse racing and the feature event yesterday right around Australia, the $151,000 Grand National Steeplechase from Flemington, a race that was marred by a number of falls, and we believe this morning that the RSPCA is looking at taking some action following the race. 5 horses falling, and unfortunately Anne Dalla dying at the second last, falling at the second last when he was leading and had to be destroyed. It happens nearly every year in steeplechase racing, and it's a great race, a great sport, but it's very unfortunate when something like that happens. The race had something taken off it when Derry Donald was scratched, the winner 2 years ago, and Sharpaz didn't take his place in the field. Here's a report on yesterday's Grand National Steeplechase.
With the superstar Sharpaz not in the lineup, the Grand National was a mix of slow-staying horses with a decent record, like last year's winner Bar the Shouting, and the Grand Annual Great Eastern winner Commission Red, and the novelty horses, Waldara with 2 wins in 45 starts, and Oakley Jack, who hadn't run a place in 31. Anne Dalla was the youngest at 5 and the only stallion, and not surprising, he looked best in the yard. He was the best backed to beat the favourite, the Kiwi 6-year-old McMurphy. The 11 set off at a leisurely pace, facing 28 fences over 5,000 metres. And unfortunately, this national was marked by a succession of falls.
5 for the back Trainery, then Waldara, Commission Red, McMurphy, followed by Oakley Jack and the Grey King Dollar. Last of all, oh, there's one that sold out along the side. Palomine has crashed. McMurphy's gone. McMurphy's down. McMurphy has crashed over on the inside. McMurphy to complete the fences coming down the steeple lane here, and the leader still is Andalar by a length length and a half to bar the shouting, and here's Trainer Ree and Oakley Jack letting go, and Vim is down. Vim's gone down. Commission Red nearly went into the back of him. Vim has saved a lot of ground getting up on the inside of Tacloban. Oakley Jack hit that one hard, a long gap to King Dollar. I don't think Commission Red can win from there. He's 20 lengths from the lead. As they go to the next, and Andalar still in front. There's another one down, Oakley Jack.
With just 7 left on their feet, Andala looked the winner. He had been the most impressive jumper, leading all the way. But Trainer Ree started to put himself into the event over the third last. Andala had led for 26 fences before he tragically crashed on the home turn.
Coming up towards the second last. Oh, he's gone down. Andalar has crashed. Andalar has crashed.
Trainer Ree kept plugging away, and he finally outstayed the top weight bar the shouting to give his jockey Brian Constable his second victory in the last 4 years. Trainer Ree's victory was a celebration for his trainer John Craddock, whose dad Stan has trained 2 Grand National hurdle winners, but the steeple has eluded him.
For most of us, it was a form improvement. Did that surprise you?
Well, I thought the horse was right to win at Moonee Valley the day he pulled up. I thought I had him at his top at that stage, and I was very, very disappointed after the race. But there has been a big reversal, and I can't really put my finger on why. Just that the horse wasn't trying, and he's just put his foot forward today.
Did you change your training program?
Yes, we did.
What did you do, John?
Gave him no work.
Not a bad way to go, giving him no work, freshening him up, and Trainer Ree will now be retired. He's run his last race, winning the Grand National Steeplechase yesterday.
Does he get to retire to stud or what?
No, he doesn't. He's a gelding, John, so he's an 8-year-old, and he's a pretty slow conveyance, so I don't think he would have made a good stallion, but he made a very good staying steeplechaser.
Well, talking about retirement, at an age when most men are considering retirement, Sydney trainer Neville Begg has decided to start his career afresh. For many seasons, Begg was one of Australia's most successful trainers, but after a relatively quiet past couple of years, he's decided to accept an invitation to prepare thoroughbreds for the immensely powerful Hong Kong Jockey Club. Hong Kong racing comes to a complete stop between June and September, giving Neville a couple of hectic months to adjust to life at the amazing Sha Tin Racing Complex.
For half a century, Neville Begg's view of life was largely restricted to the dawn light at Randwick Racecourse. And with champion gallopers like the grey filly Emancipation in his care, there was no temptation to leave.
He's drawn a long neck on Emancipation, refusing to give in. These 2 mighty horses past the distance, locked together. Emancipation fighting back. It's Sadapper on the outside, but Emancipation doing better than Sadapper. Third clear goal, but the mighty mare Emancipation too good.
But there have been fewer good horses lately, and with son Graham quickly making his own name as the trainer of recent Group 1 winner Eye of the Sky, Neville decided it was time for a change of scenery.
I've been based at Randwick since 1945, which is plenty of years, and I was certainly sorry to leave, but I spoke to my family about it, and then came and had a look. When I saw the facilities and the way racing is run here, I was very impressed, and I thought, well, you're only here once, so why not have a change of lifestyle?
Change is hardly the word. The view from the Begg's balcony gives some idea of the incredible status given to the thoroughbred industry in Hong Kong. Between Sha Tin, which was built on Chinese leased land reclaimed from the South China Sea 12 years ago, and the famous night racing at Happy Valley on Hong Kong Island, punters annually bet the equivalent of over 6 billion Australian dollars. The racing season is short and intense. Off-course tote centres and telebet facilities take in huge amounts of cash. The Quinella on the last race of last season held $6 million. Racing accounts for 10% of all government revenue, and jobs in the industry are regarded as the ultimate in prestige. These high-rises accommodate just the stable boys, or marfoos, a stark contrast to the squalor they were born in a few kilometres away. And the horses, well, they live even better.
1 marfoo to 2 horses, and I've got an assistant trainer, and then he's got an assistant, and every stable's allotted their own farrier, and the veterinary services are excellent. The veterinary facilities here would stand up to anywhere in the world. It's very, very well run system.
Ironically, for a system which has been evolving since the first race meeting in 1846 and has overcome disasters like the Derby Day fire of 1918, which killed over 600 people, the quality of galloper remains quite poor by world standards. Sha Tin's 800 horses are stabled in air-conditioned quarters 365 days of the year for the term of their racing life. It's normal for them to race up to 11 years old, and the pride of Begg's current crop, which he received in a pre-season ballot, is rising 10.
He'd be about a good welter horse, really. I think probably the standard's a little bit lower, obviously, than Sydney, but this horse, he's a Class 1 horse here, and I'd say he'd certainly be welter standard in Sydney.
Right, it's all relative, of course, so long as they're winning, aren't they?
That's right, they're competing against their peers, so I'm sure he'll still win a race or two this season. Well, the horses certainly are under different circumstances than anywhere else in the world. They live in the air-conditioned stabling and they don't go for a spell as they do in Australia. But they seem to cope with it very well. They're well looked after. They've got very, very good staff. They look after the horses well and they become very attached to them, and I'm sure the horses appreciate it.
The Chinese have an expression, Ti Sing Gualo, which roughly translated means crazy white man or crazy barbarian. Well, I can tell you firsthand the weather gets pretty barbaric here as well. But here at Sha Tin, no matter how monsoonal it gets, the racing goes on because of this unique racing surface. A combination of sand and fine plastic mesh, it's a surface which allows grass to grow very thickly, yet still drain very quickly. In fact, the harder it rains, the better they're going. After successful sand mesh trials on small sections of the track, Sha Tin is being completely resurfaced with grass imported from Melbourne. Because he does no administrative work and an all-weather Equitrack surface ensures training programs are never interrupted, Neville has more free time to spend with his wife Yvonne than at any other time in their marriage. Add to that a flat tax rate of 17%, and the Beggs are pretty sure they won't miss Randwick too much. In Hong Kong, Cameron Williams reporting for Sports World.
Cameron Williams there, and Neville's son Graham doing very well with Eye of the Sky, winning the 4X Cup a couple of weeks ago up in Brisbane. We take a break, and Greatest Hits and British Open after this.
Gelding Traineree scored the biggest win of his 58-start career in today's Grand National Steeplechase. He'd been in poor form this year, but when nearly half the field fell during the race, seized his opportunity. 11 started in a rather substandard field in this year's National, but only 6 would finish. New Zealander Palomine was the first to go at the 4th of 28.
Oh, and Palomine's gone.
After nearly a circuit, the favourite McMurphy came to grief and was followed later by Vim and the outsider Oakley Jack. At the turn, it looked like a great battle, but Andalar, which had made all the play, crashed and died. And once the last was negotiated, the 14-to-1 charged Traineree pulled clear.
But at the post, it's Traineree to win the National easily. Traineree first, wins it by about 10 lengths to bar the shouting. Third is Commission Red, Tacloban Weary fourth.
So a big win to Traineree, and all the horses except Andalar escaped injury, and the only jockey hurt was Bill Londrigan, who suffered abrasions. Harry White again proved he's lost none of his great ability with 2 outstanding rides for a double, 3 favourites successful on a testing day for punters. First on the program, won by Sonic Express at 9-to-1, running faster time than the open sprint. A good win today. Borachin and Laurie Poltridge, Jim Houlihan combining to win the second, back from 5-2 into 7-4, and it led all the way. I'm in Heaven and Harry White aboard. Harry again showing his superiority in the distance races. He was on board Mr. Classic in the first leg of the double.
Malted Grain and Black Blaze together at the 200. Mr. Classic is closing on these 2 horses now. There's a line of 3 at the 200-metre mark. Mr. Classic on the outside and Black Blaze locked together. Here's Novell flashing home. Mr. Classic is at the front. Novell flashing home, but Mr. Classic will win it by a half Novell. And third placing might have gone to Malted Grain just in.
Mr. Classic starting at 4-to-1 in favourite, posting his 15th win. Race 6, and this was a good win to Rajar's Gold, coming from well back to score at 5-to-1. The Lawn Handicap, this was the sprint of the day.
Disputed fill from Hello Melbourne and Sungi Wong squeezing through, and then Leading Bird. They've got about 150 to go. Durham Rivers in front of Beat the Best. Here's Ben Barra King out very wide. Durham Rivers, Ben Barra King to fight it out. Ben Barra King going home better on the outside, and Ben Barra King has got up to win. 3/4 Durham Rivers, and I'd reckon Sungi Wong has run third from class.
So 2 in a row there to Ben Barra King, and he was back from 8-to-1 into 6-to-1 late in betting to score from Durham Rivers. Sungi Wong grabbing third in a blanket finish there. The favourite Beat the Best out of a place. And the last went to Natural Wonder, easy in the betting from evens out to 2 to 1, but a courageous win to fight back after being headed and score with a big weight. Now the daily double today for a pair of ones, 13.90, the one certainly to the 4, extra double 5 and 9, 123.10. There's a quadrilla, 1,050.55, and a skinny quad extra with all the ones paying $85.90. Melbourne-based Samoan...
Hey, Johnny Tapp.
Thank you, Max, and welcome to our little part of Wide World of Sports on a glorious Saturday in Sydney. It's a real sparkler. Well, I'm feeling a heck of a lot better at the moment because the previous race here was won by Crown Joker, ridden by veteran jockey Cliffy Clare, who's rapidly approaching his 60th birthday, and he rode it like a man inspired. Ken, it makes you feel a bit spring-heeled yourself, doesn't it?
Yes, John, he's a good bloke, Cliffy Clare. When I was a young fellow, I used to haunt his place because he had a swimming pool. It showed you how rich and famous he was then as a much younger jockey. And John Holloway and myself, young jockeys, used to terrorise poor Cliff and his wife Shirley swimming in their pool. Now I'm here backing him, but I wish I'd have backed him in the previous race because it was about 25 to 1. But in this race, both John and I think Vain Promise is a good thing. And let's look at the prices. Vain Promise is only showing $2.10, which is odds of 10 to 9. But going from the top, 13 to 2 Record Dash, Street Line is scratched, 5 to 1 Regal Harry, 4 Fun is 10 to 1, 14 LA Streak. I like Vain Promise. I think he'll win. John likes him too. He was his Channel 9 News special. Slight risk at the distance, otherwise he is a good thing. Tatwood is a scratching. Rampant Fury at 9 to 1. 40 Welsh Zephyr. 14 Tearaway Lad. Tredegar Lad is at 25 to 1. That's a lot. Here's Johnny. They're about to jump.
Righto, Ken, the last couple about to move into the stalls. This is a tricky starting point here, the 1900 at Rose Hill. They have a short run to the first turn and barrier positions are very important. Now, there's the concentration on the faces of some of these jockeys. And we just wait for LA Streak to move up, and here's the starter, Billy Dale, coming over to dispatch the field. Vain Promise gets his chance today. He looks beautifully placed. About set, starter Billy Dale on his stand and the gates fly open. They're off and running. 4 Fun and Rampant Fury are the best out. Beginning smartly, Vain Promise and Record Dash. Regal Harry is prominent soon after the start, and then Tredegar Lad followed by Welsh Zephyr. Tearaway Lad got back to be second last, and LA Streakers last in the run to the first turn. Now the top weight Record Dash is in front as they go around that first corner over Rampant Fury. Vain Promise is going to settle third on the outside. Now he moves to second. 4 Fun is running fourth, and Welsh Zephyr is momentarily 3 deep and being allowed to stride up closer to the lead. Further back, Tredegar Lad followed by Regal Harry, and then Tearaway Lad pulling a bit, and a head away last on the fence as LA Streak. Down the back they go, and Welsh Zephyr storms to the front at the 1200 mark. Kicked away 2.5 lengths on Record Dash. 2 to Vain Promise in a good posse on the outside of Rampant Fury. 1.5 lengths to 4 Fun on the outside of Tredegar Lad, and then Tearaway Lad, who's about to take off. Second last is Regal Harry, and LA Streak is down at the tail as they go by the 1,000 metres mark. It's being run at a true pace, and the leader is Welsh Zephyr. Record Dash moving closer. Vain Promise third, travelling sweetly for Malcolm Johnston at the 800 mark. On the fence, Rampant Fury. Tearaway Lad is out 3 deep, followed by 4 Fun. Then Tredegar Lad and Regal Harry, and 2 lengths away last is LA Streak as they near the 600 metres mark. Record Dash is attacking Welsh Zephyr with Tearaway Lad going up to take them on, and then Vain Promise, who tracks the leaders into the straight. On the fence, Rampant Fury followed by Regal Harry, then LA Streak, who'll be pratted very deep on the corner. Heads a turn for home, and Record Dash just led from Welsh Zephyr. Tearaway Lad, Rampant Fury. Vain Promise is bailed up for a run. He's got nowhere to go. Regal Harry joining in, and his LA Streak on the outside. He's got to go backwards on Vain Promise before he can get into the clear. LA Streak hit the lead from Regal Harry. Now Vain Promise is into the clear, but he lost plenty of momentum. LA Streak is the leader, getting close to home. In fact, he's shot clear, and he's going to win easily. Tredegar Lad is charging home. He'll get second. Regal Harry third. Vain Promise fourth, had no luck, followed by Tearaway Lad. 4 Fun. Record Dash felt the weight over the last bit, and then Rampant Fury, and tailed off his Welsh Zephyr. An absolute victim of circumstances, Malcolm Johnston. I don't know if the horse would have won had he got a clear run, because he's been beaten a fair way, but he just lost momentum completely, and you just can't go backwards and win races. The winner will be LA Streak, number 5, and is going to pay tote odds of $15 and $3.30. Second is 11 Tredegar Lad, $5. Third will be number 3 Regal Harry, $1.70. That's the result on race 5. Back from the old dart, a picture of sartorial splendour, Ken Sutcliffe.
All right, Taffy, you tell a few fibs too.